Previously, Jiwoo continued practicing the force control that Kaden gave him. Delane is still conducting failed experiments, and Wooin stumbles upon Jiwoo taking his cats for a walk. He realizes that the cat he has looks identical to the one that someone stole from Delane. He tricks Jiwoo into bringing the cat to him and steals it away. Since we all know how much of a softie Jiwoo is for cats, he follows him secretly to his hideout and stumbles upon Delane. The first thing that comes to Kaden's mind is to check the hospital, but when he sees that Jiwoo isn't there, he goes away and thinks that Jiwoo must be fine. The great Kaden thinks why should he be worried about that idiot? However, he is bothered that he is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, upon seeing Delane, Jiwoo realizes that the man in front of him is the one who hurt the cat and wonders what he should do now. Since he didn't see his face, Delane asks Jiwoo why he was looking in the way of his hideout. Jiwoo makes an excuse, but Delane has been observing him for a long time and knows that he's lying. Looking closely, he wonders if he has seen Jiwoo somewhere before, and seeing his uniform, he realizes that he is the man who stole the cat from him. He attacks him immediately, and Jiwoo tries to run, but it is in vain. He approaches Jiwoo menacingly, and Wooin sees all the commotion through surveillance cameras. Jiwoo tries to run again, but he has already used his powers completely and got hit with another powerful attack. As he is lying on the ground, Wooin comes outside, and Delane tells him that Jiwoo was on his tail. He then kicks Jiwoo, asking why he can't stand after a single blow and thinks that he's really weak for a tracker. Since he can't have him escape, he decides to harm his legs, as without them, his awakened ability is useless. To save him, Wooin tells Delane that he must have hurt Jiwoo a lot when he fought him, so he can't use his powers to fight back. He asks Delane to let him take care of the doofus. He agrees at first, but when he remembers the disrespect Jiwoo gave him, he hurts his leg, and Jiwoo screams in pain. With that blow on the leg, Jiwoo wouldn't be able to run fast even with his super speed. When he hears Jiwoo's screams, he tells him to stop overreacting, saying that it's just a broken leg. Yeah, Delane, a broken leg is just a casual thing. He then starts beating him relentlessly, asking who he works for, and keeps on beating the living F out of him. Unable to see the gruesome sight, Wooin begs his mentor to stop, saying that Jiwoo isn't a tracker and he isn't after them. When Delane questions him, he replies that he took the cat away from him, not because he was a tracker, but because he couldn't see the cat being abused. Since they have the same uniform, Delane asks Wooin if he goes to his school, and Wooin replies positively. Realizing that Wooin lied to him, Delane slams him against a building with his power and focuses his attention on Jiwoo again. He can't believe that all of this is just a coincidence, as the story seems unrealistic to him. Even if the story might be true, Jiwoo still knows the atrocities he's committing, and for that reason, Delane can't afford to let him live. As he prepares to finish Jiwoo off, Wooin deliberately attacks nearby Delane, telling him that he missed on purpose and that he can't let him kill Jiwoo. Kaden, who is searching for Jiwoo nearby, hears the commotion. Delane thinks that Wooin must have lost his mind since he attacked him, and asks how dare he use his powers on him. Wooin replies that he did it for him, and Delane attacks him, saying that Wooin is an ungrateful bitch, as he had saved him from human body experiments and acted like a father figure. But Wooin is paying him back this way. Now he plans to focus his attention on Wooin first, so he keeps attacking him, and Wooin is forced to attack him back. However, he feels bad about it and apologizes, but Delane is already pissed as F. When Wooin hits him again, Delane realizes that his pupil is no longer a weakling, and powering up, he plans to check how strong Wooin has really become. He attacks him so fast that Wooin is not able to react and gets yeeted against a wall. Before he can even recover, he attacks Wooin again, and he is launched into the air before crashing back to the ground. He sighs in pain and asks if it's all he's got. Delane bullies him for being a weakling and thinks that he has betrayed him. However, Wooin replies that he never betrayed him. This reply gets Delane furious once again, and he starts mercilessly kicking Wooin, saying that he did betray him for that goofy idiot. Kaden sees him beating Wooin from around a corner, but he is unfazed since it's not Ji-woo. When he looks the other way, he sees Ji-woo beaten to a pulp and lying on the ground unconscious. There are wounds and cuts all over, and with a sad and melancholic voice, Kaden asks him if he's all right. He had told him to lie low and keep his head out of things that didn't concern him, and now, since Ji-woo did exactly what he told him not to, he's in such a horrible state. When Ji-woo regained consciousness, Kaden tells him that since he hadn't come home, he came looking for him since he knew that Ji-woo had a knack for taking flying arrows in his hole. When Ji-woo apologizes, Kaden looks at him with empathy in his eyes, and meanwhile, Wooin is rendered defenseless by Delane, who now wants to focus his attention on Ji-woo. Wooin begs him again to leave Ji-woo, saying that he's not a tracker, but nothing logical will sway Delane now, as he can't afford someone who knows about his experiments to live. Seeing Kaden near Ji-woo, Delane thinks that the fat cat could be used for his experiments, and wants to add him to his collection. Ji-woo begs Kaden to run away, but Kaden tells him to run away himself in return, and asks him to get far away. He gives Ji-woo some of his energy so he can run away, and transforms into his real self that all you thirsty weebs watching this were begging to see. With a snap of his fingers, he creates a space isolation and asks Delane if his actions are justifiable. Delane wonders if he knows Ji-woo and asks who he is. However, after seeing his electric power and the energy of 1,000 awakened ones coming from him, he thinks that it could be Kaden, and his suspicions come true when Ji-woo calls him by his name. Since Kaden is a well-known figure among the awakened world, Delane knows that he doesn't stand a chance against him, and tells him that he didn't mean to harm him, and that if he knew that Ji-woo is related to him, he never would have attacked him. Just like him, when he was unfazed by everything moments before, Kaden too is unfazed by his blabbering and fries Delane's circuits with his heavenly lightning. When he is attacked, all of Delane's hair stands up because of the electricity, and when the attack stops, he is forced onto his knees, and black smoke comes forth from his burned body. However, he is still living and breathing, and thinking that he might have not used enough power, Kaden gets ready to dispose of him with his next attack, but Wooin gets in front of his mentor to protect him. He knows that the great Kaden is known to ruthlessly destroy anyone standing in his way, and because of that unstoppable personality, he earned the name Kaden Break. He apologizes and begs Kaden to spare his mentor. Hearing that Delane is his mentor, Kaden now knows the reason why he is defending him, even though he was clobbering Wooin to death just moments before. He respects Wooin, but Delane has already crossed a line by attacking Ji-woo, so he tells Wooin to get out of the way unless he wants to die with him. However, Wooin refuses to do so even when Delane tells him himself. Since he isn't moving away, Kaden is about to kill them both, but stops when Ji-woo tells him that he has done enough. He wonders why Ji-woo isn't even mad after what Delane did to him, as he would have died by his hands if he hadn't come to rescue him. He tells Ji-woo to remember the warning he gave him about the awakened world being different than the world he used to live in, saying that the awakened ones become enemies easily if they do not agree with each other. Ji-woo accepts his foolishness, but still, he doesn't want Kaden to kill someone because of him. Kaden asks Ji-woo if he knows that he is doing this for him, and Ji-woo replies that he does and is grateful for all the times he has helped him out, but he still doesn't want him to kill someone because of him. Moreover, he considers Wooin his friend since he tried to help him. Knowing that he isn't going to back down with his righteousness, Kaden tells Delane and Wooin to get lost, and warns Delane that he will kill him if he sees him again. Before leaving, Woo-in thanks Kaden for sparing them, and Kaden asks Ji-woo if he is happy now. He takes the cat and Ji-woo back home, and uses his powers on Ji-woo so he can heal a bit faster. His scars will heal in a day or two, but his broken bones will take a few days. Seeing Kaden, Ji-woo can't help but smile all the time, and Kaden wonders if he has hurt his head, since he keeps smiling. Ji-woo is surprised by how hot and cool his sugar daddy looks. I agree with Ji-woo. I mean, Kaden is so hot that he could ruin my life, and all I would say is, when is the next appointment? Kaden tells Ji-woo to remember when he told him that he is awesome, and now Ji-woo actually sees for himself. The cats growl at him since it's strange for them to see him in his human form, and Kaden wonders if cats are just ungrateful beings that are acting like this even after he helped them open cans of food that he mostly ate himself. Suddenly, Kaden's body starts crackling, and with a flash, he transforms back into a cat, and panics, wondering why he turned back into this again, and that he can't control his transformation. Meanwhile, Woo-in places Delane's injured body on a sofa and asks if he is okay. Woo-in apologizes to him and wants to treat his wounds, but Delane tells him that it's imperative they hurry up and leave this place. He tells Woo-in to collect all the data, but upon realizing that some awakened ones are rushing to his location, Delane attacks Woo-in, saying that he knew Woo-in would betray him one day, and because of that, he didn't teach him anything useful. Woo-in asks what happened to him all of a sudden, but Delane tells him to shut the F up, and awakened ones from the Union come to arrest him for conducting illegal research. He tries to attack Woo-in once again, but a member of the Union stops, and he continues to act like he wants to kill Woo-in, saying that if it wasn't because of him, he would never be found. He is saying all of that just so the Union would spare Woo-in, but Seong-ha from the Union tells Woo-in that he has to come with him as well. At the Shinhwa Association's headquarters, In-hyuk tells his leader Ji-young that all traces of the electric power have been erased, so it is hard for him to say for sure, but he thinks that it was the result of Kaden's abilities. He tells Ji-young that the Union doesn't know about this, and Ji-young thinks that they can't let Kaden's presence be discovered. As if the public learned of his existence, it would get problematic. Talking about Ji-woo, In-hyuk then asks her what they should do about the student, but she remains silent. At his home, Ji-woo is playing with his cats and blushes because of how cute they are looking. He then sees Kaden, who is wondering why he changed back to his cat form, and is confused as he didn't completely drain his energy, so he should have stayed human still as it is his normal form. However, he realizes that he must have done more than just copy the form of the cat he ran into, and probably transformed completely into a real cat. Instead of getting alarmed, he is actually proud of himself, as it makes him feel that he does everything to perfection, and thinks converting back into a human would be a piece of cake when he gets his strength back. God, please, can I get half of Kaden's self-confidence? He chuckles because of his own greatness, and upon seeing him, the gray cat, who just woke up, decides to quietly go to sleep again. When Ji-woo asks Kaden if he knows why he turned back into a cat, Kaden replies that it is because of his greatness. Seeing the toy in Ji-woo's hands that the other cats are playing with, Kaden can't help but leap to catch the toy just like the other cats are doing, and after catching it, he thinks that he is too much like a cat now, and even wags his tail like one. Ji-woo wonders why the gray cat isn't waking up, and Kaden tells him that the cat seemed fine when he checked his vital signs, and that he should wake up soon, since it is doing better than the time they found it. After petting the cat, Ji-woo sits beside it, and Kaden recalls that he got carried away in the fight against Delane, as he became human again after some time and left traces of his power. He erased most of them, but is worried that there still might be some trace left and wants to go check it out. He tells Ji-woo that they might have alerted the awakened around the area when they made a big scene yesterday. Ji-woo wants to go with him, saying that he feels trapped just staying at home, but Kaden wants him to stay at home after what happened to him. However, Ji-woo has the great Kaden by his side, so he thinks that there is nothing to worry about, and Kaden feels good about himself after hearing this. He tells Ji-woo that he finally understands the greatness of Kaden, and Ji-woo replies that there is no way he could deny it after seeing it with his very own eyes. He wants to become as strong as him and asks Kaden how he can become one. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted when Ji-woo's phone starts to ring. He attends the call, and In-hyuk asks if he has a moment as he wants to speak with him. Ji-woo asks who he is, so In-hyuk replies that he has some advice for him from one awakened to another. He wants to speak with him face to face and tells Ji-woo that he is outside his house at this very moment. Ji-woo is alarmed seeing him, but In-hyuk tries to put him at ease by saying that if he wanted to harm him, he wouldn't have bothered calling. Ji-woo invites him inside, and In-hyuk is surprised to see so many cats around, one of them being Kaden, who is sitting more like a human than a human. Going straight to the point, he tells Ji-woo that he wants to help him live as an awakened one. He apologizes for checking Ji-woo's background, but says that it is a necessary precaution, as they must know about the awakened ones in the area. Hearing this, Kaden wonders if this whole area belongs to someone. When Ji-woo asks In-hyuk if he is an awakened one as well, In-hyuk shows him his wind powers, and seeing it, Kaden realizes that this area is Ji-young-yu's district. This is where the video ends. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.